Hello, this is Carter Lusher with SageCircle, and today we are visiting the Altimeter Group and with Ray Wang, one of the partners. How's it going, Ray?
Wonderful. Welcome to the hangar.
Thank you, thank you. Maybe we'll do a little walk around a little bit later on. I've got a couple questions for you, and first off, you've been here about a year now, and what have been some of your observations about the Altimeter Group and what you guys have been experiencing?
It's been a explosive growth year for us. We've been able to add up to 18 total employees. We've added about 8 partners in total, and we've really had a lot of fun really identifying where the intersections of these disruptive technologies are coming together and how people work. And there are new business models coming up, continuous innovation in the marketplace, and in fact, technology isn't standing still, which means we've got a lot of interest in a lot of clients on both ends.
Now, you've got quite a diverse set of partners covering personal devices, social media, supply chain, ERP. How do you guys collaborate and work together?
Well, you start with a design thinking approach. You think about the pain points that clients are facing. And so you take a little bit of that, you add a little bit of futurist thinking, you say, what happens a year from now? What happens 3 years from now? What are the problems people are going to be worried about? And that creates natural collaboration points. So some of the things that we've started in throughout the process is to have these big ideas, collaboration meetings, and things that we're using as ways to come back and find intersection points. For example, when we're looking at our event, which is the rise of social commerce, we're looking at all the intersection points in terms of what happens between mobility and location-based. How does that impact supply chains and social commerce? What happens with the social marketing angle that comes into place? What are the new technologies that are going to enable this? And are there different leadership styles that are going to make some organizations more successful than others? And that's one example of collaboration in action, which is one of the events that we're doing. On the other hand, we're looking at just basic levels of collaboration in terms of research ideas and research agendas that we share among the different teams and partners. And that in itself is very interesting. What happens, for example, when you look at what we did with social media and enterprise with social CRM, and how do you take that out and build out those use cases to fit in public sector with some of the work that Alan Weber is doing? So those natural points of collaboration happen in our conversations and interactions. And one of the other things that we try to do is we try to meet every month in a partner meeting to actually facilitate that.
Interesting. That's quite an investment then. Now, what have been some of the surprises over the last year, either from a business point of view or from a research point of view?
From a business side, we are very thankful for the wonderful clients we've had that have followed us. We've been it's been a very interesting economy. We've been very lucky to have great clients follow us and follow our ideas. And I think that's been one of the biggest surprises is how portable the market is as people are looking to other alternatives in the market for research, for consulting, for advisory, and those kind of services. One other piece that's been surprising on the business front is the fact that because of the economic conditions that are happening, people are actually investing more in technology. But they want to do it more effectively with the right levels of people and the right levels of organization. And what I mean by that is the fact that people are willing to invest in technology but not in jobs. And we're in this part of the economic downturn and economic recovery where people would rather put the money in technology to get leverage. But they want to do it effectively. They want to make sure that they can fail fast. And they also want to make sure that they'll be able to take that with them if the economy improves and be able to leverage up.
So there's actually a premium on you understanding what the vendors are up to, what the technology can do, and so on and so forth. Has the vendor community been doing a good job working with you? Has analyst relations professionals done a good job of working with Altimeter and not just treating you as another analyst firm?
I would say in the most part, yes. Once we explain how the business model works, once we explain how we are not necessarily, we're not charging for research, our research is open, our processes are collaborative, and we've got that transparency. And then once they realize that the pieces that we can assist with vendors are really introductions to end users as these disruptive technologies take place, as new models approach. So in that kind of interaction, we see a lot of interest between sharing what's up on the product roadmaps so that we can get that in front of customers who are thinking about their adoption roadmaps, and then that cycle comes back. So the vendors that we've worked best with are those vendors that see how the purchasing cycle ties back with the sharing on the technology direction and the understanding of the go-to-market strategies.
Interesting. Yeah, it's a slightly new approach, and I think the AR people might have to think a little differently when working with you.
For some, yes, and I think it's just going to take time as we do the interactions, as we share our deal flow, as they see how we write and how we put our thought leadership in blogs, events, videos. Those types of delivery models are changing that level of influence. A number of our A number of our partners, for example, Marsha Connor has a book out there, Charlene has a book out there, Laura's working on a book, I'm working on a book, all those things that factor into it. We've got Deb, who has Tunnel Vision. She's got a television, a video kind of stream and podcast kind of show that's out there. Michael Gartenberg writes for Engadget. Jeremiah writes for Forbes. So we've got a number of different outlets in terms of how we get our thought leadership out there.
Interesting. Now, what's next? Is there still room for expansion?
Definitely. We think that as these technologies continue to evolve, there's always going to be room for expansion, not only in the core technologies, but also how do you get people on the enterprise side ready to take these disruptions? So you've got the cutting edge stuff that's going to happen in the next year or two. You've got the stuff that's going to happen 3 years out, and then you've got to carry everybody along. So not everybody's an A player, not everybody's a B player as end users and buyers of these technologies, and how do we get them along to see where the use cases are? How do they become successful in that adoption? And how can we, bring those communities together to create that whole collaboration? So definitely a lot of room expansion on that front. And then of course for us, there could be geographical expansion as we look at different markets. There could be other different business models and affiliates and partnerships. All those are going to come into play, and it's just a matter of time and good timing. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for taking time speaking with the SageCircle AR podcast listeners.
Carter, thanks a lot. Hi, everybody.